We are bringing our first cutting hay crop home today. We've got the Massey 1135 on the trailer. We're going to be loading with that at the hay field. We've got the Ford 8210 out at Brandon's place that we're going to be unloading with. And this is one of the challenges of being a smaller ranching operation, being a first generation guy getting into this, trying to get started, is you have to operate on land where you can find it. And that's not always as convenient as you would like it to be, and it's not always as close as you'd like it to be either. This particular field we're unloading the tractor at right now is about 60 miles northeast of where I live. Fortunately, it's only about 10 miles from where Brandon is, so that makes things a little bit more convenient. But travel is just a fact of life when you're trying to start an operation like this somewhere like Wyoming. A lot of the agricultural land out here is in very, very large parcels. You're talking 1,000-acre parcel is fairly small for a real working ranch. Most working ranches of any size are going to be several thousand acres, and it is not at all uncommon to find operations that are tens or hundreds of thousands of acres. And because we are so small, when those places do come up for sale or for lease or something to that effect, you just can't make the numbers work on something like that when you're just starting out. It would be great. We're going to be there one day. But today, we are very happy to be running these smaller properties that we do have, even if it does involve a little bit of travel. Now, there are a lot of things we could be doing to make this operation more efficient. This tractor was one of them. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but today we are running both pickups and both trailers to move this hay home. This hay is only going about 15 miles one way, and each truck and trailer can fit 11 bales on a load. And unfortunately, that's it. If we had bigger trucks, if we had bigger trailers, if we had a semi, that would be a gigantic increase in efficiency. But that's not where we are today, so we're very happy to have the trucks and the trailers and the equipment that we do get to run. Brandon and I have talked about it. We would both very much like to have a semi. Brandon actually drives truck part-time during harvest season hauling sugar beets, and I was a semi-truck technician until I went to work at an equipment dealership where, in addition to being a field mechanic, I would end up driving our truck hauling equipment. So we're both really familiar with the trucks. We're both really comfortable. We would both very much like to have one. It's just kind of a matter right now of deciding which step to take next, because being able to haul more at one time is certainly a big increase in efficiency, but having to haul fewer miles would be just as good, if not really better overall. When we need to move something like one of our pull-type hay mowers, I mean, these things are 16 and 18 feet wide at their narrowest point, and regardless of what size truck you have, it's still extremely difficult to move something 16 to 18 feet wide down public roadways. Now, it's a little bit better being out in the country, but the fewer miles you have to go with stuff like that, the better. I mean, even our hay loads, while they're not grossly oversized, they are just a little oversized because we're rolling these 5x6 round bales.
It's a little windy, but we're about ready to go. Now you may be wondering why we're bothering to strap this down, and there's two reasons for that. Reason number one is we do have to go down a public highway, but reason number two, and more importantly, is straps are reusable, whereas dropped hay bales, those tend to bust and make a mess and create a lot of problems.
You can see there are a couple of differences in the trailers we're pulling today. The one I have on has those stand-up ramps at the back, which help keep hay from rolling off. The one Brandon's towing is a little heavier weight capacity, but doesn't have ramps at all. As great as it would be to have ramps and heavier capacity on both of them, when you're running what you have, you make it work. And that just means throwing a couple of extra straps or leaving a bale or two off. You take what you have and you just adapt how you're doing things to make it work. And that's kind of the situation with this Ford 8210 tractor you're watching here as well. It was bought used, and shortly after we got it, we had to go through and do a number of repairs, including removing the entire front axle assembly to fix that pivot. But right now, as you're watching it, it is actually running with a bad water pump. The pump does not leak, but it does get warm if you work the tractor really hard for extended periods of time. Doing what we're doing, just unloading a couple of trailers, it's not pushing the tractor that hard, and Brandon is absolutely keeping a really close eye on the gauges while we're doing this. But one of the great things about these older all-mechanical tractors is they were just really well built, and they're extremely forgiving. No, it's not as nice of a tractor, it's not as efficient of a tractor as that New Holland TS115A we had, but it is a whole lot more reliable. In the entire time we owned it, that TS115A did, I think it actually did one real job, whereas this Massey Ferguson you're watching right now, we just bought it used a little while ago, and it has already completed more real work and been more beneficial and earned more money than that big New Holland we had ever even came close to doing. I'm not picking on New Holland as a brand. I love the tractors. I love my local dealer, who fortunately is also a Massey Ferguson dealer, so I can continue working with them even with this new tractor we've got. But that New Holland TS115A I had, that thing was just, well, I bought it sight unseen over the internet, and I got exactly what I paid for, and I guess that just says it all now, doesn't it? We try to take really good care of our equipment, and that's why you can see here it looks extremely inefficient probably for me to be stacking these bales down and moving them, and you may be wondering why we were only loading out of that one driveway earlier. Well, the reason for that is because there is a two-track, a set of car-sized ruts that you can kind of see just off the road there. And we didn't want to unnecessarily beat on the tractor. We didn't want to bang the front end of this Massey Ferguson through two sets of ruts each and every time we had to load. So we found it a whole lot easier to just come up here and use the driveway, even though it is a few extra steps. It's worth it to take care of the equipment. Now, this Massey does need repair. Just like the Ford 8210, it is running in this video with a bad water pump. At the end of my previous hay hauling videos, you guys saw this tractor actually break down on the side of the road towing our baler home. And what had happened was the seal on the water pump failed, and we haven't been able to get it fixed yet. I'm actually going to be rebuilding this water pump myself, because a brand new water pump from the dealer for this tractor was about $684, whereas a rebuild kit for this water pump was only $164. Now, yes, I know you can get the cheap $200 rebuilt in China water pumps on Amazon. I don't trust them, but in spite of that, that's exactly what Brandon actually ordered to go on that Ford 8210. So because we're going to be making the same repair at about the same time and with about the same expected hours of use for the tractors in the future, it's going to be a really interesting comparison. Now, a water pump is not the first nor last mechanical modification or repair planned for this tractor. If you've seen the older videos with this thing, you remember that loader, that bale spear, had two hoops on either side that stuck out about an extra 1.5 feet that were made for handling large square bales or 2 round bales at a time, as you can see here. We are not going to do that with this tractor. 2 round bales is just too much. You can see a couple of times in this video it got a little light doing that, and I don't like it. I don't like how hard it is on the machine. I don't like how hard it is in general, so it's just too risky, not worth it. We're not going to go there. But I cut those off and narrowed this thing up. Now the bale spear is narrower than a bale of hay. The reason that's so critical is because it allows me to reach completely across the trailer to sit a bale down without disturbing the other ones. And it allows me to sit a bale up against the front of the trailer or up close against another bale without tearing the net wrap apart or bashing into the trailer. I'm going to be removing this bale spear here pretty soon though, because we need to put a bucket on this tractor. We don't currently have one, and this is an old Easy On brand loader. I'm sure there's a good used bucket that would fit it out there for sale somewhere. I just haven't been able to find it. If you guys know where it is, comment down below and let me know, because I'd like to buy one. Because I don't really expect that to happen anytime soon. My plan is to just build one. Well, modify one, I guess I should say. The John Deere 6410, we are still working on installing that loader. We are waiting on the correct mounting brackets to show up. But the gentleman we bought that loader from, that the mounting brackets are coming through, runs a tractor salvage yard, a tractor salvage operation in Nebraska. And I've already spoken to him. He does not have a bucket specifically to fit this loader, but he does have several good used buckets that are the correct overall width. So it looks like I'm probably going to buy one of those and then just modify it to fit this loader. We'll add mounting tabs, we'll add brackets, we'll do whatever we have to do so that we can use it in place of the bale spear, because we have a lot of loader work that needs to be done, and I really haven't had a functional loader tractor since I sold my John Deere 5320 almost 2 years ago now. I had the New Holland TS 115A. I'll link to some of those videos in a card around here somewhere, but that thing was anything but reliable. Actually, every time I tried to use that tractor, it broke. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. You can go watch the videos. I bought a snowblower. I bought an 8-foot wide snowblower that I was going to run on that tractor. And every single time I tried to do it, the tractor broke down. I mean, it left me stranded in below zero weather. It left me stranded. One time I had to walk home in single-digit temperatures, Fahrenheit, for about 2 miles because it broke down. But that tractor was abused long before I got it, and I paid the price, literally losing a fair bit of money when I sold it. Like I said, I'll link you guys to those videos in a card, in a playlist, and you can check those out if you want more of that story. But it's gone now, and I am much, much happier to be running this older equipment that we have with the Massey Ferguson and the Ford 8210. Even my brand new pickup truck that you guys saw come to the channel just a few months ago has already been to the shop twice. It's had a couple of issues with the DEF system and with the key transponder system. They've been able to fix it each time, but it has been in the shop. It is back now. The old body style 97 F250, it's only broken down once. Well, it's broken down a lot more than once, but only once that was a component failure. I mean, the head gasket failures were also component failures, but those were when I was trying to tow stuff I really probably shouldn't have been trying to tow with a small block gasoline pickup truck that's 21 years old. I love my low body style Ford though. I bought it specifically to be a plow truck. When I got that thing, it was a beat up pickup truck that had been owned by a landscaping company. I mean, that thing was just ragged out. I've had the engine out of it. I've had the transmission out of it. I put the flatbed on it. I've done a ton of work to that truck. I really love having it around. And frankly, it doesn't make sense for me to get rid of it, because if I were to sell that truck, the amount of money I could get for it, I don't think I could go buy a brand new snowplow to fit this Dodge for that amount of money. Now, new trucks and new tractors are certainly more comfortable and less fatiguing to run, and they do let you get more done in a day. But in the price ranges we're looking at as a small startup operation, it makes sense to buy better condition, lower hour, older equipment than newer stuff with more features that's probably had a lot harder life. Y'all have seen me go down both of those paths. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe here on YouTube. If you want to see daily updates, there's a link down in the description to follow me on Instagram at GuyNWY. It's totally free, and I try to post up pictures and short video clips every day or every other day of what we're doing as we're doing it. If you want a more unfiltered behind-the-scenes look, you can always sponsor the channel on Patreon. That gets a lot of backstory that is probably never going to be made available anywhere else. But we've got some great stuff coming. The GoPro battery is about to die. So for tonight, let's just say thanks for watching and more later.